Welcome to my channel. Hi, everybody. Hello. I am 3 sips deep into this non-sponsored reading. Shout out to my very much so sponsored friend for this non-sponsored reading. So I got hold up, I'm sitting on my wallet. I got 3 things of Oracle juice. I'm going to be doing a very non-sponsored Lionsgate. Is it going to be for Lionsgate? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know if I'm going to do 3 separate non-sponsored videos or if I'm going to do one, pick a non-sponsored bottle reading, and we'll see what the 3 oracles have to say. I'll give you an idea, a screenshot, a snippet, a sneak peek. And by all of that, I just mean I'll show you these bottles. Says today, I was just feeling like getting alcohol, I guess. So there's a Pinot Grigio prophecy. There's a Rosé prophecy. And then there's a Sauvignon Blanc prophecy. See it? So I have little red solo cup shots. I think I'll just do a shot of. See, but then I feel like I feel some type of way about having 3 bottles open at the same time. Because I'm not gonna drink them that quick. So I might just do them in separate videos, and whenever I feel like opening another bottle, I'll do that. I could do this one first because she's giving Aquarius. She's giving the Star. This one's giving the World. The World, she's giving the World, but also the Wheel of Fortune because of the spokes, the one in the middle. And then the one on the right, I don't know what she's giving me. She's giving me Matryoshka doll, nesting dolls, keyholes, I don't know. But today was the 1-year anniversary of the shop. So I found a 10% off candle. And I was like, well, I can't get 10% off and not get anything. So I ended up getting the Santa Muerte Lenormand. And I believe it's different. There is a Santa Muerte, it's the La Santa Muerte Lenormand. There is a Santa Muerte Oracle deck that goes with the tarot deck. I saw it. I was like, oof, this is definitely a book reader. Because I don't think it has any words on it. I think it was just images. And I was like, I need a little more than just images. So I'm going to use the La Santa Muerte Lenormand with my mini pocket size Santa Muerte Tarot, and we're going to see what's up. I'm also drinking some mead because I was feeling it, because I bought a new bottle of mead, and this bottle of mead has been chilling since I moved in. So it's been over a month. Come on, don't be shy now. I don't know why they don't want to come out of the box. Get out of the box. And we'll just see what's up. And we'll just see what's up. Now I've been learning Spanish on Duolingo, so we'll see if that helps me at all. Senora, I know that's the woman. The senora is the senora. We have La Carta. La Carta. Carta is letters. I know that. Mensajes is messages. Las Nubes. I would have thought that was Los Nubes. Las Nubes, the clouds. I know Nublado is cloudy. Los Lirios. Hey, Holly, how you doing? While the dryer guy is there, Working on the dryer, I'm assuming. And we'll just see what's up. Excuse me. These are not wanting to get on the box. El Ataud. Ataud. Y'all know my pronunciation is going to be rusty. I hope I don't offend anybody. I'll do my best. I'll try. That's the coffin. I was in the World Foods aisle at Meijer, I think, and they had like Mother Mary candles. I forget. I know there's like a name. I forget it. It's escaping me, but these are the Lenormands. La Santa Muerte Lenormands. La Santa Muerte Lenormand. And let's see. Excuse me, I am tired. That's way too many cards. So we're just gonna see what's up. We'll do general. I want 2 to 3 Lenormands. I might just go to bed, honestly. Also, you can probably tell I'm wearing contacts. No, I don't usually go for the adventurous, for the not necessarily natural human eye colors. Usually I stick to my grays. I love gray contacts. I wanted to see if there were like a lilac-y purple, like a light purple, like a lavender. But they only had like a super purple. And then I saw these and I was like, I'll be bold. I'll be adventurous. The next major holiday is Halloween, right? That's what folks say. Although I guess we have Labor Day coming up. I was like, why not? We'll go for them. So I ended up getting them. And I feel like with eyes, how my eyes naturally are, just like this natural sort of like hooded, whatever. It's not too, like it's less freaky than I thought it would be, if that makes sense. It's less jarring than I initially thought it would be. To me, to somebody else, I don't know. Right? As long as my eyes don't open all the way, then it's fine. Because when they do, that's when it's like, anyway. All right, how am I going to do this? We'll see. We'll do leading up to. I already did Leo season, right? We'll do a things to know before. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 95% sure that the Lionsgate energy is already begun, but the peak of the portal hasn't hit yet. Excuse me. So before the peak / as we're heading into it, things to be. Let me open up a sticky note or just like notepad so I remember what it is that I'm about to say. Where are the sticky notes? I want a purple sticky note today, but I don't want them all to be purple. You know what I mean? I don't have any sticky notes. They're all on my laptop. Let's see if they'll pop up, though. I'm signing in. No, they didn't. Wow. They're all on my laptop. Okay. Which is fine. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Purple. There we go. So I want to do we'll do a good thing first. What we're doing well. What we did well. What we are closing out and what to be mindful of. What are these three things in general? It's a general reading. Take it as it resonates. Use your own intuition, discernment, guidance, knowledge, wisdom, all that stuff. But I feel like I'm learning. So there is a very potential surprise in the works, and I know quite a few of you will be pleased and excited for that. I'll say look forward to it, even though you don't know what it is. Know that you'll love it if you've been here for a little bit of time. Also, ooh, not 2 and 3, not 3 and 2. The Empress and the High Priestess. I might need to put my glasses on. The Empress and the High Priestess. Hold up. Hold on, I know. Oh, sorry. This feels like honestly, so with the High Priestess reading by the candlelight and holding up a key, I think it feels like the High Priestess is a thank you. I know, right? It feels like the High Priestess is about to do something that she hasn't done in a really long time. It's either it hasn't happened in a long time, or it doesn't happen often. Because it feels like she's reading a manual as she's like doing something. And then there's the Empress that it's like she's trying to be coy, she's trying to not reveal something. And she's holding her staff there. What's at the bottom of the deck? The Eight of Cups. Interesting. Excuse me. I feel like I was saying something before that came out, but I don't remember, so it's fine. All right. I don't know if I want to get I think I'll get the Lenormand first, and then I'll clarify with the tarot. So what I'm going to do is I feel satisfied with how the tarot is shuffled. I'm going to shuffle the Lenormand a few more times because I just got it. Mix it up a little bit. Maybe I'll cut it like 6 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways. And there's 36 cards. So I'm assuming there's only 36 because, sometimes you'll get a Lenormand with a little bit more. Or they'll have like multiple versions of a card or something like that. I don't think there's a title card. Hello, how you doing? How are you today? Feeling less anxious about school? Well, maybe not, but hopefully. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 2 cards from the Lenormand and then 3 from the tarot. So first is what we did well. We have El Nino and La Machete. Which looks like the Jack of Spades and the Jack of Diamonds. I don't think these are kings. El Nino is the child. La Machete is, I think that would be, I don't know. I'm almost tempted to say it would be like the whip or the rides. It's the rides in the Mirror of Truth, Lenormand. No, it's the scythe. It would be the space of the scythe. There is a blade. There's that thing again between swords and wands. And then just like right off the top, we have the Tower, Justice, and the Lovers, three majors. The Tower, Justice, and the Lovers in the space of things that we've done well. We've seen the Tower recently before in the SKT Vitruvian edition that had the axe of Shiva in it, the axe that removes corruption, pretty much in the exact same space. Cleaned up some things that needed to be cleaned up, healed some things that needed to be healed, successfully navigated through a tower. Their celebration and this child card, El Nino. Now, what's interesting is this makes me think of the Sauvignon Blanc, probably butchering that, prophecy because of, if it'll focus, there's the heart. There you go. Right there, it makes me think of the bottom one. But then there's a key floating up there. That key, again, it makes me think of the high priestess that was reading the manual. It's like, oh, I haven't done this in a while, or this doesn't happen too often. Let me just like check the book to make sure I'm doing this right. This key is falling from the sky. Interesting. So I guess I'll read it. I'll read it all the way through and then I'll move on to the next one. So we have the Tower, Justice, and the Lovers. The Tower is 16, Justice is 11, the Lovers is 6. So that's 1, 6, 1, 1, 6 down here. And then we have 1, 3, 1, 0 up here. I am actually going to read the book on the Lenormand because number one, I'm not too familiar with the Lenormand, and number two, I want to just know how it's get. I want to say a flavor of the vibe, a taste of the vibe of the book. So, El Nino, the child, this is a new thing or person, something in progress or in its infancy. Also, entertainments, fun producing, and games. Nueva, new thing, newly met person, an existing child or grandchild, child. Like games, child can represent a question of honesty or truth, and child itself may indicate some factor that is misunderstood or a conclusion drawn from ignorance of all facts. Think games. Is she pregnant? She's 70. No. Naivety will eat away at money. That's the blurb. It's page 43. Sure. Then number 10 is La Machete. Yeah. So this is traditionally the scythe. It cuts. That is it. A machete cuts. It is a tool of work. A dull machete makes hard work even more difficult. Risk, aggression, accident, criminality, cutting, sharp surgeries, toil, deadlines, skimming off the top. A dull machete makes hard work even more difficult. That part feels important because then we have the Tower and Justice. The Tower and Justice feels like it sharpens the machete. so that it doesn't make difficult things even harder than they need to be. Because of that, it's bringing up like the sharpening of one's wit or of one's mind. I don't know if it's necessarily becoming more cunning or if it's just a lot quicker on the ball. Um, do I get a clarifier? I'm gonna pull, since I'm pulling off the top, I'll pull my clarifiers from the middle. One card from the Lenormand. It's the coffin. Okay. So the coffin would almost suggest that maybe the child is a little bit of immaturity. It was immaturity that could have made something more difficult, but it feels like it was Kirsty. Hey, how you doing? Hi, how are you? Um, it feels like it was the child that like brought a sense of levity to something. It made it not so serious. Mm, I think there's also an element of time here. The lovers, it feels like it's between justice and the lovers. It feels like making appropriate decisions or making choices and decisions in appropriate ways. So maybe there was like a sense of young hearted joviality that one would like to keep in general, but when it was time to get serious, we did a good job of being serious. It's almost like where the inner warrior meets the inner child. You know what I mean? So what we're closing out is El Ancla and El Cruce. It's the nine of spades and the queen of diamonds, the anchor and the crossroads. I would have thought it was La Ancla, but it's El Ancla. Also, with this being like in Spanish, there's an interesting introduction gendered of gender where we don't have it in English. And at the moment, it doesn't necessarily feel wrong. It just feels like it's an additional element, you know? So, Alancla and La Cruce is the star, temperance, and the queen of wands. Two more major arcanas. And then a court card. Queen of wands, queen of diamonds. What we're still closing out, the anchor and the crossroads, clarified by the star, temperance, and the queen of wands. The star and temperance are both cards of healing. Um, excuse me. Oh yeah, it's a theme. Alancla. Oh, let me read it from the book. Alancla is 35. El Cruce is 22. Crossroads implies movement. Crossroads are historically magical places. They are where decisions are made. Sometimes good, dot, dot, dot. Decisions, choices, options. Failure to decide stops movement and is a decision in itself. That's with the anchor. Oh, see, there are two versions right here. There's this senora, and then there's another senora. There's two senoras. Ooh, at least. So we got more than 36 cards. Got it. El Ancla, anchor. Anchors in the Norman decks are usually shown on dry land, where they are worthless and serve as useless lawn ornaments. Anchors work when they are submerged, unseen, underwater, holding their vessel safe. Representing stability and security, the anchor keeps one in a safe place. Its association with steadfastness leads us to equate it with our employment. Unable to move, hard and fast has its own problems. Interesting. I feel like just off the jump, off the cuff at first hand, this could be very like, oh, I need to charge my phone. My phone is gonna die. It's fine. I meant to plug it up. It's fine. I can do it after. The anchor is where it's supposed to be. The anchor is doing its job. Because it's submerged in water. What's interesting is there's the top of a bottle in this anchor card. And it's giving me like message in a bottle type of energy. But the bottle sank. So it's almost like if the anchor wasn't where it is, the message would have never been received. Because we look for messages in a bottle at the surface. We look for them to be carried on the waves, and this one is not. The star is also associated with water. The star was that other prophecy. It was the one on the right side. So we've done the prophecy on the left with the Matryoshka and the lovers. Now we are looking at so this makes me think of the lovers. That prophecy because of the key on the thing, right? And then on the right, there's the star. Now this star, she ain't got no cups. She's just using her hands and she's half submerged in the water. But there's the star. We still don't have our world wheel of fortune prophecy. But that's the thing about using prophecy to navigate. It's always tricky. It's tricky because we don't know until things play out what they really mean. We can go in with an idea, with an inkling. I'm playing through Diablo 4 right now, and they're talking about there's a prophecy in Diablo 4, and one of the characters believes themselves to be or to take a certain place in the prophecy. Also in God of War, the new 2, there's a prophecy in that game, and for most of the story, you kind of believe that the person who is the hero in the prophecy is one character, but it turns out to be somebody completely different. It also makes me think, of course, of Macbeth and how he was prophesied by the witches to be the next king of Denmark or whatever. Maybe it wasn't Denmark. Maybe Denmark is Hamlet. But Macbeth was prophesied, and going off of the heart and the 4 and the 7, that was the heart and the crown chakra in reverse. It's like all of those, or 2 of those especially, are examples of when someone places themselves in a certain role in prophecy and then they commit some grave sin. As if the prophecy called for that in order to, do whatever. But again, that's just one of the dangers of prophecies and foretellings. Which is why I feel like this anchor is really important when it comes to the crossroads. It's important to have a groundedness. It's important it almost feels like it's important for things to, because it's the anchor, slow down in a way. Temperance is also a card of patience. So a time of, it's not non-action, but it's almost like things are slowing down because we're more in tune with the brain's processing speed. We're more aware of all of the different factors into the equation that the brain is calculating. Now we have El Perro, the dog. The dog. I don't know. I'll blame the need. El Perro is the clarifier for this one. The dog is all about loyalty. I think with the Queen of Wands, though, it's about being loyal to oneself. So, because of that, this anchor is grounded in the self. So, this message in the bottle that we're not going to find up on, like, washed up onto the beach, or we're not going to be able to watch the waves to see this message come in, because it's not coming from outside of the self. It's coming from deeply internal to the self. It's coming from deep within the self. And this is what we're closing out. This is what we're concluding. There was purification with that tower, with El Nino and La Machete. And El Ataud. I don't even, let me see. Let me put it, I think it's a T. It could be a C. Yeah, Ataud, Ataud. I don't know how to put. Let me pull up Google Translate. Google could probably do a better job. El Ataud, the coffin. Because of the coffin, there is almost ego rebirth, ego transformation, shadow worky type of thing. But it's not feeling like how. It's like it's reading shadow work, but it's not necessarily feeling like shadow work, but it is shadow work. But it's a shadow work that is so about self-love and self-commitment, and the energy of self-love and self-commitment is present. So it feels like it doesn't have the same heaviness that a lot of shadow work typically has. And it's that ability to be in tune and in touch with the self that, again, it feels like it's going to be crucial at this crossroads, at this point of making decisions. Since we're closing it out, we could be in the space of needing to make a major decision, or a major decision might be like, it may come time to make it soon. It's also interesting because because Justice and the Lovers, it really did feel like it had something to do with like decision making. So it's almost like we did everything that we needed. We have successfully done everything that we needed to do in order to prepare ourselves for making a certain choice and decision. Now is going to be coming the time to make that choice and to do it from a grounded place. So lastly, what to be mindful of, we have La Luna and Los Nubes. Las Nubes. I'm not wearing my glasses. Las Nubes number 6. Yeah, Las Nubes. We have La Luna and Las Nubes. So we go from masculine, El Nino, feminine, La Machete, to masculine, El Ancla, El Cruce, to feminine, La Luna, Las Nubes. The moon and the clouds, two cards of nothing being certain or guaranteed or whatever. Also, I fixed the thing, so I'm taking up all of the screen without this black bar that was like here. The one that I moved there because I was doing the spreadsheet. It is the Eight of Cups and the King of Clubs. So we have spades, we have diamonds, we have spades, we have diamonds, we have cups, and we have clubs. It's interesting. So the masculine brought the same elements that a combination of masculine and feminine brought. Feminine is bringing in two new elements, being the cups and the clubs, but it's almost incomplete darkness because this moon is basically full, but because the clouds are here, we wouldn't even see moonlight. The feminine, it's not sneaky at all, but the feminine is working in her feminine element. It's almost like those who know, those who are in touch and in tune or in touch and in tune. And again, it plays off of, or it's very reminiscent of the high priestess and the empress. The high priestess, the one that's like, oh, I haven't done this in a long time, or this isn't something that we do often, so I'm going to read the book to make sure I'm doing whatever I need to be doing right. The thing that brings the key down onto this plane. Again, we have like a masculine and a feminine here, which is interesting because this is in the section of cards where one masculine and one feminine came out. And the empress was like sitting there with her fan sort of like partially covering her face, like she's trying not to say anything, but she knows it's good, you know what I mean? She knows that something good and juicy is about to happen, but she's like, I'm not saying nothing. Let's see who we got. We have the Ten of Pentacles. This is what to be mindful of. The Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Ten of Cups. Wow, that's gorgeous. That's definitely gorgeous. The Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, the Ten of Cups. The only element missing here is air. See, I'm tempted to pull a fourth card to see if it'll be that air element, but I don't want to ruin it. A truly good thing cannot be ruined. What is truly next, what is truly right, what is truly good, what is truly what is truly something that is more indicative of destination energy rather than next phase of the journey energy, it's not going to be ruined. Now that could be like La Luna Las Nubes energy, where it's almost like in the presence of uncertainty or in the presence of the unknown, we'd rather choose to remain where we are because we don't want any unexpected or unpleasant surprises, especially if we like where we're at. But again, it's like if something is truly it, next, aligned, whatever, it's not going to ruin it. So, fourth card, we have the Three of Swords. No! So it's the air. It is the air that I was looking for, but it's the Three of Swords, which is, oh, just kidding. Just kidding. False alarm. I'm not wearing my glasses. It's the Four of Swords. Okay. If we're going to get a swords card, we probably want it to be either the 4 or the 6 or the ace. The ace, the 4, or the 6. And it's the 4. The Four of Swords. Whoo! See? I almost psyched myself out. But like I was saying, ooh, like I was saying, if it's truly whatever, it's not going to be bad. So we don't have to be afraid. So we got one card of every element. Magician energy is here. It's all about, like, definitely what to be mindful of is the fact that we have all of the tools that we need at our disposal. Everything we need, we have. It's just a matter of how we use it. So now my clarifier here is, it's the Ace of Hearts. I gotta pull up my Caballero. Well, it's not because it's only one R. Caballero. Caballero, Ace of Hearts. Is Caballero the gentleman? Ooh, this is the cool guy. That's the Caballero. Oh, look. That's Caballero right there on the box. We didn't see her, but we do have Justice. Okay, well, Justice don't necessarily look like her, but she got the scales and Justice got the scales. That is number 28, Caballero. Caballero is man. Senora is woman. This Caballero, let me get my glasses. Let me put them back on. The man in the reading, if the reading is for a man, this represents him. Also, the primary man in the life of a woman, if the reading is for a woman. Masculine qualities of a situation. Alternatively, if the primary man is in a relationship with another man, the second man card would be added to the deck. The woman card may or may not be excluded. Aww, how inclusive. You could just have 2 men or 2 women if that's more appropriate for whoever you're reading for. Or you could have 2 men and 2 women, you know? What's interesting here, though, is this is in the feminine. Everything at the bottom underlying is masculine. El Atao, the coffin, El Perro, the dog, and then Caballero, which is the man. What's interesting about it here is we have La Luna and Las Nubes, 2 feminines at the top, and then this Caballero at the bottom. This Caballero is too cool for school. What? I'm shook. Is he the only person that's alive in this entire deck? There's a Caballero with skin and bones. The other Caballero is skin and bones. Everything else is a skeleton. I mean, the dog isn't a skeleton. So the dog is also alive. But because this is La Santa Muerte, then if it isn't dead, if it's not a skeleton, if it still has flesh on its bones, then maybe it isn't yet. Okay, the bear, like animals they don't have animal skeletons. No, because El Nino is right here. And they both have skin and bones too. Or flesh. They have flesh on their bones. Interesting. So El Nino and one of the Caballeros are the only human skeletons that have flesh on them. Interesting. I feel like that means something. It could mean rebirth, sure. Oops. 10 of Cups, 3 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, 10 of Cups, and the 3 of Swords. The 4, sorry. It's not the 3, it's the 4. The 4 of Swords. It feels like, because one way to read this would be at the very beginning of the reading, when it was both masculine and feminine, El Nino with La Machete. there was this coffin there. It's like this is the death of the feminine. And then we went into the masculine with El Ancla and El Cruce. And because of the dog here, this is very like when two people have been together for a long time. And when one of them passes, and then not too long after that, the other one passes, it's almost that energy. Because here's El Perro, and then here's the Caballero that's a skeleton. We didn't get the Caballero that was still alive. And we have in this Four of Swords the card that, like, there was a lot of nervousness and hesitation. Like, there's the coffin right there. So it's like masculine energy has completed its transition and transformation as well. That's why we see this Caballero. This Caballero can join the feminine on the other side of the veil or on the other side of things. So what to be mindful of is, it's just like it's being mindful. Eve, hi, how are you? Well, I have that much meat left. So, there you go. Cheers. I already drank it. I was gonna cheers you. How are you? Oh, look, Caballero is drinking too. That's what the keg is for. What does it say? I don't know. Rum XXX. Ooh, this Caballero. This not with the rum XXX. This Caballero is like, okay, I'm here. You here. We ain't got no genitalia, but we can still rub bones. It's fine. I think it is, there's something about like being, what to be mindful is of the fact that something may have changed. Something may be different than it used to be or than we thought it before. There's a lot of trust and there's a lot of faith here in what to be mindful of. And it's almost because of the uncertainty of the moon and the clouds. But like just when I was like, we have 3 out of 4 elements. I want to pull another card. Now the swords are probably the riskiest element to try to fill. Because again, if it's not the ace, the 4, or the 6, you got the 3 of swords. The 2 of swords isn't as bad, but you got the 3 of swords, the 5 of swords, the 7 of swords, the 8 of swords, the 9 of swords, and the 10 of swords. None of those you necessarily want to see. But it was the 4 of swords. The 4 of swords is also a card of it's rest after a stressful, traumatic, painful time. It's where like ease starts to come back into a situation and where one can breathe, or where like one is catching their breath and finding their breath and falling back into their breath. It's the one that can finally sleep through the night. And it's like we got the 2 tens that we would probably want to, the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. And both of these have butterflies on them. Both of these speak to that transformation or the conclusion of a transformation. This one speaks of a different kind of transformation. This one speaks more of transition than transformation because of the coffin. And then with the 3 of Wands, I don't know why I keep putting these on and taking them off. I'm glad to hear it. These are what, skulls with flowers? Here's a bird that's a skeleton. So this is telling me that the bird has a message. The 3 of Wands. So I'm gonna go looking for. I saw the owls when I was flipping through the book. I don't know if there's another bird in this deck, but I'm gonna go looking for the first bird that I see. So it could be the stork, and I'm gonna pull from the bottom of the deck. It could be the stork. It could be the birds. The first bird in a card that I see is the one that I will take. There's fish. There's snakes. There's the other caballo. No. All right, for my live viewers, I have a question. Now, I said the first bird that I see is the one that I'm going to take. I didn't clarify if it's the owl or the stork. I just said the first bird that I see. Now, there's a bird on this card. Am I taking this? The fox has a chicken in its mouth. No, technically, it's the first bird that I saw. Oof. Oh, darn it. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, wait. That's okay. Okay. You're right. You're right. You're right. Everybody's right. Okay. The reason why you're right is because the bird in this Three of Wands is a skeleton. That's why I don't feel as bad for taking the dead chicken because it's already a skeleton here and it's come with a message. So then, yes, that's probably the only bird that's dead in this deck. See, this is like it almost speaks to the. It's not cruelty. I don't want to use the word cruelty. It almost speaks to the interesting and intricate. It almost speaks to the interesting and intricate nature of the happenings of things. Because the fox can be cunning, it can be sly, it can be a whole bunch of things. El Zorro? What? Zorro is a fox? El Zorro. This is, well, we have La Garea. La Garea, no, La Garza. Sorry, La Garza. And the stork. So there's another bird right there, Queen of Hearts. And then on the other side is literally the other caballero. So we have the other caballero. Both caballeros are here. Maybe the caballero is the bird. And that's why he's in. It's like, yeah, I had an unfortunate accident, you know. But I'm on this side of things now. I don't know if that's like karma. I feel like a person would think of it as karma. But it feels like it's about the grand design. And then La Garea, La Garza, sorry, La Garza. The fox in the hen house. Fox is going to be foxing. I'll read it. We'll read the fox. That's number what, 14? El Zorro, the fox. I need my glasses to read. It's fine. Zorro appears sneaky because they do their homework. Hold up. Zorro appears sneaky because they do their homework. They learn the lay of the land, look for escape routes. It is not personal, it is what they do. So, this includes spying or wiretaps. It also represents the self-employed since they must be clever and flexible in business. Whereas La Serpiente represents a danger from someone known, El Zorro is a danger from unknown sources. Wrongness, deception, deceit, a crafty person. Context is important here, and one needs to note the surrounding negative or positive cards. So yeah, because of La Garza and the Caballero when the Caballero was alive, um, it's just reading as like what needed to happen. Again, like so the fox is like the universe. The fox is the universe that conspired in someone's life to get them to a point of wanting to heal, a point of rebirth, a point of maturity, a point of taking action in the ways that they needed to take action, a point of enough is enough to the point where they did whatever they needed to do to be reborn. But because the stork is here, it almost feels like it wasn't something necessarily negative. Like the stork makes it seem beautiful. Like the stork makes it seem more focused on the positive or more focused on what would more focused on what one would have to gain rather than being focused on what one was losing. Because it's almost like El Zorro was showing the person, was showing masculine element or the masculine energy or whatever. It's almost like how little it actually prioritized or cared about what it was losing. And I think it's because of the start, because of whatever La Garza was saying to the Caballero. Caballero was like, yeah, okay, I can get in the coffin. Or maybe it's because Caballero showed up and it's like Romeo and Juliet, you know. Romeo showed up and Juliet's already on the other side. So, oh, Romeo's like, oh, bet, see you there. You know, minus the misunderstanding, but okay, that it ended up working out. All right. That's the second time this what we need to be mindful of. That's the second time it scared me. The first time is when it gave me a four of swords that I thought was the three. Uh I'm gonna read La Garza 17. When the going gets tough, storks leave. Storks follow food and tend to be seasonal, returning to where they were comfortable and found resources, a sign of good luck. When storks leave, it serves as an early warning system. When they are not comfortable, something is wrong. Changing, usually for the better, moving in patterns. It's also interesting that there's movement here where there wasn't in El Ancla. There's like a almost six of swords energy with the storks because of that. And again, it feels like it plays into it was something positive. It's just like sometimes the feeling of loss itself can make us feel a certain type of way because we don't want to necessarily lose out on anything. But when we stop and take stock of what it is that we're losing, and when we sink into tap into like our own emotional selves, especially with La Luna, first it was Alancla. Like the anchor is in the water, and that's where the anchor needs to be. An anchor on land is worthless. It's a useless line decoration. What is the anchor doing on land? But with La Luna here, with Las Nubes, I get it. I don't know. I don't know if it plays into the high priestess. Now I gotta look before and after the emperor. Maybe. Look, two title cards in this little deck. Two, two, two. There's the emperor. The emperor is in between the ace of wands and the hermit. I'm looking before and after the emperor because the high priestess came out with the empress, and the high priestess was like, "This doesn't usually happen. Like this hasn't happened in a while, and it doesn't happen often." And the empress was sitting there in an energy of anticipation. because her caballero has just gone through the change and just gone through the transformation. Ooh. Oh, gosh. Is this a Four of Swords? It's the Seven of Swords. So the Emperor is in between the Ace of Wands and the Seven of Swords. Now, the Ace of Wands and the Seven of Swords is almost a Knight of Wands energy. This is almost like, oh, that thing over there I really, really want, so I'm just going to dip out. I'm just going to dip out real quick and go after that thing that I really want. On the coffin, it looks like it's written hope reflects. All I can see is hope reflex. I can't read what's after that. If it'll focus. You focus? Is that how you focus things on cameras? See it? No. Oh, there it is. You see hope reflection? Is it the reflection of hope? So while the skeleton was sitting in the casket, that's what it saw. Like that's what the skeleton would have been staring at the roof of the casket. Hope reflection. So there's almost something here. I don't know if this obviously doesn't have to be romantic. Because it was the stork that gave the caballero the courage to face the fox, knowing that he was gonna die. But then it's like after the caballero was in the casket, it was this reflection of hope that gave him the strength and the courage that he needed to actually leave and to get up and to get out of it. So now this caballero is the one that's too cool for school or too school for cool. That's the one that is with barely contained excitement or with a renewed passion, seeking all of the things on this side of everything. This Ace of Wands would also bump our Three of Wands to the Four of Wands. And the Seven of Wands would bump our Four of Wands to the Page, or the Seven of Swords would bump our Four of Swords to the Page of Swords, or the 11 of Swords, or the Justice of Swords. And the Justice of Swords is just like, this is what needed to happen. And so it's like there's less resentment, there's less anger, there's less frustration, there's less upsetness just in general, because that caballero realizes and recognizes that whatever the fox did, the fox needed to do. Or like this caballero is grateful to the fox because of everything that it stands poised to experience and receive now. Even though it feels like it still doesn't have much of a sense of direction because of La Luna and Los Nubes. So there you go. Right? It's the alcohol. Yeah. It was a Michelle fan back when she used to be on YouTube, or all the other beauty vloggers or whatever. I never understood why one would hold their hand up to the thing, but now that I'm trying to get these cards to focus, See, focusing, first when you said focusing like a pro, I thought you were talking about how I haven't lost the train of thought. I don't think in this hour that I've been live. But now I'm like, oh, focusing the camera. Yeah, so. Okay. Oof. I am tricking in real life reading. No, I didn't read for her in real life. I got read in real life. I got read for Phil. I was like, wow. Wow. But yeah. So what is that? What to be mindful of? Again, like there's nothing super concrete. There's nothing coming up because it's the moon and Las Nubes. Because it's the moon again, like on the thing that we're closing out with us sinking into an attunement, and awareness of self, with that anchor being in the water. And with that being a space or something that we consider as we're making choices and decisions at the crossroads, it feels like the La Luna is just playing off of that. It's deeply emotional, it's deeply internal, it's deeply spiritual, it's deeply connected to the everything. And then Las Nubes, it's just like be mindful that things might not necessarily get any more concrete or any more clear moving forward or in this next hot minute. Because this is a pre Lionsgate meant to be read. I might do 3 different prophecies for the Lionsgate, but that's a lot of wine. That's 3 bottles. And I only got tomorrow off. See, I should have started that 2 days ago. Because after tomorrow, I'll go back to work, and I can't drink before work. Because that wouldn't be professional. I think also too, there is this like, especially when it comes to other people or when it comes to anything that is not us, what we're closing out is solely focused on us and how we feel about us, how we relate to us, how we consider ourselves, and how we value ourselves as we're making choices and decisions. What to be mindful of is the fact that we're completely unaware of what other people and other organizations and anything outside of us, like what they're doing and what they're going through and why they're going through it. Can we have a good idea? Yeah, because the moon is also about intuition. But there's still an element that either we don't know or it's not us going through it. So it's almost just like it's just something to be mindful of. Be mindful that things might change or that things may have changed or that I already said things might change when we don't necessarily think that they will. Be mindful of the fact that just as we've healed and grown and evolved and matured and ascended and whatever, others can do the same. Can do the same. Did they do it? Did they not do it? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Las Nubes, La Luna, the moon, the clouds. But for the things that fit, for the things that are right, and for the things that we engage with, interact with, and move forward with, they will meet us. Right. Cool. All right, let's get some final cards. Let's get some FINALCARDs. So the Lionsgate can bring all kinds of surprises then, I guess. All kinds of surprises. Prepare for the unpreparable. Prepare to experience, witness, and see the things that you could have not have any way prepared yourself for, besides in the ways that you've already prepared yourself for. Some questions that may appear on the final exam. It wasn't until I think my sophomore chemistry class, one of them, that there was. So one of my professors had a TA. His name was Windhold. Professor went hold and he would take off his shoes. And I would sit in the front row with Emily, not my journey buddy Emily, but a different Emily, and my best friend in the row behind us. And one day, Emily was just like, she made a comment about hearing his bare feet slap against the floor when he was walking. Woo! It was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind it. It was a large lecture hall and he was at the front and we were literally the only two people in the front row, but she made a comment about hearing his bare feet slap against the floor every time he moves. And it was one of those things that, like, once somebody points it out, you can't help but hear it or listen for it. You know what I mean? But I liked him. I thought he was cool. But anyway, the TA, whenever we had our final review session, he was like, I've been TAing for this professor for a few years now. Like, if this is the information that's covered on the test, this is the type of question that he'll ask. And ever since he saw that, or ever since he said that, in like subsequent classes, I would think of tests that I had taken for that professor. And then whenever another test would come up, I would be like, okay, what type of question does this professor like to ask? And knowing that and knowing the information that I could be potentially tested over, how do I need to like reframe how I'm learning in this class? Or how do I need to reframe how I study for tests in this class? Because there's a million and one different ways to see if someone has acquired information or whatever, but it was just cool. Anyway, it was fun. You got duct tape and your Swiss Army knife ready to MacGyver out of the test. Okay. Santa Muerte. The last card from the Santa Muerte is the Ten of Cups with strength at the bottom of the deck. We see this. Oh, what is it? Ooh, strength, judgment, and the Ten of Wands. It's not a mariachi. A luchador. That's what it is. I'm like, I know this word. I know what it is. The Ten of Cups with the luchador and strength. This Ten of Cups is gorgeous. I feel like it's almost commenting on the interconnectedness of everything with this Ten of Cups. And as part of creation, as part of something, as a part or a piece or a segment of the global, cosmic, universal interconnected web, there are things that we can do to like shift the vibration. Anything that touches the web, I guess with enough force, will cause ripples around it. And so it's almost to like not lose our place in the grand scheme of things. And then judgment is behind that. Judgment is feeling like consequence, or for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So act wisely. I guess I don't know. Okay, that's fine. I'm like trying to shake the box loose. It's taking too long. So La Santa Muerte, Lenormand. 2 cards, please. Excuse me. La Lenormand, Santa Muerte. By Dan M. Pelletier, illustrated by Callie French. All right. We have La llave, the key, and something that came face down. La llave and el árbol, the key and the tree. Hey, they rhyme. They rhyme in English, not necessarily in Spanish. La llave and el árbol, 33 and 5, which is a 6-5 if you add up the 33. It's the 8 of diamonds with the 7 of hearts. It's almost like the key to longevity or unlocking longevity. Bottom of the deck is the coffin, because of course it is. Well, I guess this is your alternative to longevity. And then el oso, the bear. The key to longevity, it's almost to not, the key to longevity is to spend an appropriate amount of time in seasons of rebirth or in seasons of slowness. Because bears hibernate. Now, this is a very, very active bear. This is not a hibernating bear at all. But typically, bears hibernate to the point where you might think that they're dead. But that's the key, because even trees, they go through winters. Deciduous trees lose their leaves every year. They grow back. You know, I don't know if for the first time when a tree starts losing its leaves, if it freaks out about them not growing back. You know, now a butterfly only becomes a butterfly once in its life. The butterfly doesn't become a caterpillar that becomes another butterfly. But trees lose their leaves, flowers, perennials die seasonally. They come back in the spring, and they know that. Um, I think there's also something to hear about like fighting sleep. Like when a baby is tired and you can tell they're fighting their sleep. It's like it's not to fight it, but it's also not to spend any more time than we need there. It's all about it's all about allowing the season to bring the things that are for that season to bring. And it's about being where we are when we're there for as long as we need to be there. But it's also about moving on when that time comes as well. You know? And that's the key. That's the secret to the tree's wisdom. They don't fight winters, and they don't lament springs, and they don't mourn when summer is over. You know, they allow the seasons to bring all of the things that they bring. But you know, of course, evergreens, conifers are different than deciduous trees. They have pines. They don't even have leaves. They have an adaptation. They have a non-leaf leaf in order to keep them year round. Kind of like the owls and the bats, right? So anyway, that skeleton was emerging from a coffin. The skeleton in the Seven of Swords, or a different skeleton? Oh, a different one, a different skeleton. That's what I got. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. What did we do well? We inner childed well, you know. We were really good about pumping up that inner child narrative. We were really good about doing that inner child work. um, and of course, there's a balance between, again, the inner child and the inner warrior. I saw somebody post, it might have been Facebook. It was like, like your inner child or whatever. Um, and I think like the inner child isn't necessarily always like super like naive. There are some children that are very aware You know what I mean? I think when we think inner child, sometimes we typically, maybe because life is what life is, we try to get back into the innocence. And in that innocence, we try to rediscover a certain naivety, a naivete. But the machete was also there. Like, children will also, you mess with the wrong kid and they'll hurt your feelings. But they are also incredibly perceptive and incredibly wise in their own way. Wise in a way that we as adults have become accustomed to things, and wise in ways that we wouldn't necessarily do whatever because of politeness and etiquette. So that's what we did well. We did that well. What we're closing out is we're closing out this almost like a self empowerment where we are really in touch and in tune with ourselves, where we're really considering ourselves maybe in a way that we didn't necessarily before, and where we're making choices and decisions based off of how it is that we truly deeply feel. Now, all of that inner child work provides the space for us to connect to ourselves as deeply and honestly as that anchor was sitting on that ocean floor, receiving that message on the floor of the ocean rather than surfing the waves up top. And then what to be mindful of, just as we've gone through our own transformations and healings, and just as we are different people and all of this and all of that, so too are there other people, so too are there other organizations, so too are there everything outside of us that have gone through similar. And for anything that is resonant or aligned, we don't have to fear as much things like falling apart. Because again, like if it's aligned, it'll work. It was the four of swords instead of the three. So anyway, there you go. Look forward to, if you want or if you will. I'm gonna do something with that prophecy wine. Lions Day is literally in Lions Gate is literally in 5 days. I only got tomorrow off. So I think my last day will be Lionsgate. I got this, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll be my last day working. So I might come back then. I might come back before. I don't know. We'll see. I might do one of them then, and who knows? Or I could just open all 4 bottles. Now I got a bottle of mead that's open though. See, I don't really drink that much. Anyway, it's fine. I'll figure it out. I already gave you my hopes, and I guess all that's left is until next time. Thank you, Kirsty and Holly and Eve, for spending some time here with me and with each other today. And also Mr. Krabs, who I'm like 99% sure is cute, for stopping in. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time I catch ya. It's already I'm like, it's only been an hour and 20 minutes. All right, I'm out of here. Bye.